Sippers, potheads, welcome to this episode of the Tea With Me podcast with me, Shane Todd. Bit of a weird one, this, because this week we had hoped to do the first episode in the new studio, and we kind of are, because we're in the building that the studio's in, but I am in my office. Step into my office, said the 32-year-old man boy. I mean, it is weird for me to have an office. I don't really know, apart from writing, what I'm going to do here. You know, it's just weird to, like, you know, it's weird that my wife would say, like, yeah, my husband's down at his office, because it makes it sound like I am, you know, a normal job guy. You know, it makes it sound like I'm respectable. Like, I don't know, I'm a solicitor or a private eye. Is there private eyes about? Is that still a thing? Like, are people a private eye? You know, for talk's sake, that guy who walked past the window is way too old to just be carrying a football about. Um, but I am actually going to pause this and go and ask if he fancies a kick about. But even though it's snowing, cool. So yeah, I mean, are private eyes a thing? You know, could I say, so Aaron Butler's my guest today. Say Aaron betrayed me. Say Aaron accessed my bank account and stole $500,000 on me. Would I be able to just go to a guy or woman, you know, and say, listen, I got a problem, get some dirt on this guy? Do you want me to Google private eye Belfast? Very keen to know. By the way, yes, it's a guest episode. Welcome to the episode. Got a couple of things to get through before I get my guest on. Is that all right? Everything I've looked for is like an eye clinic. Private eye Belfast. Okay, wait. Yeah, there's private investigators. Oh, but I suppose you don't see their faces and all or know a lot about it. Because, oh yeah, there is. Oh, let me get me into their website. Investigative services. So that I'm not planning to talk about this at all, but I'll not say the name of this company. I mean, they do have a website, so like I wouldn't be touting on them. But there's a company here. Oh, you can't even see the picture of the people behind it. Fuck, this is class. They do bug sweeping. Like, who in Northern Ireland is getting bugged? You know, the mafia get bugged. Big organised crime associations getting bugged. There's no way loyalist paramilitaries are getting bugged by the police. Is there? I don't know. Maybe, I mean, they probably definitely are. But like, I just love that. All right, bro, I think I'm being bugged here. Can you come and sweep up for bugs? Yeah, there's no bugs. Oh, really? Sure, there's one there. That's a Slater. You know, and shout out to Slaters. Haven't seen one since 1999, but it's all good. Yeah, industrial espionage. Oh, can I get this right? Would you be up for me getting a private investigator onto the podcast? And imagine they're all done in silhouette, which will kill Mike and Dan, who spent the last 2 weeks preparing the studio for just normal light. So imagine if I'm like, listen, Andy McNabb's coming in, we need him in shadow. I love this so much. Employee claim an injury. Oh, I love this. So if you're like, oh, slipped at work and a banana skin out here working for CableTel, you can just get in touch with these guys and they'll go, is that right? We conduct employment investigations within the parameters of the UK employment law. I bet when they say that, they go like this. Don't worry about it. You know, they do like a big Pinocchio nose when they say that. Theft and fraud. Theft in the workplace. Somebody just stole my sandwiches. Let me get a private investigator onto the case. I love this, and I want to be a private investigator. Do you think you're being bugged? All right, man, I think I'm being bugged here. Who by? You're a postman, you know what I mean? fuck, this is brilliant. I'm going to try and get a private investigator on the podcast and just ask them, like, oh, what all have you seen? You know, I mean, they're not good at their job if they answer that, but maybe we could get a retired private investigator on. This is like last week whenever I said we should get a rabbi and a Muslim cleric onto the podcast. Oh, detective, private detective. I mean, I'd love to just have a private detective on the payroll. And when he says, like, what do you need me to do? I go, I don't know, mate. Just go out and find things out. Should I, through the Patreon, fund a private investigator to work for us? And every week we just pick like a different comedian and we just go out and like find out what they're really up to. You know, is Mark McCartney siphoning diesel in cash? There's only one way to find out, my private investigator. I love this and we're going to make it happen. So we're in the studio. We're in the studio. Currently upstairs, there's work going on as we speak. I said I would do a sort of virtual tour for Patreon, but we're not even at that stage yet. And we were supposed to do our first episode today, but we're going to push it back to next week and do it then with a studio guest. And it's exciting times. In my office here, I've got a TV. This is very me. I've got a TV, but I don't have a power lead or anything for it. So I've got a TV monitor, and I've got a wee vinyl player, and then there's some biscuits my wife gave me to bring down to the office. So, you know, we're balling out in the office, and it's a good time. I did a Patreon episode on Monday there with the baby, just me and the baby. Not like he wasn't like mic'd up, you know what I mean? I wasn't asking him like listeners' questions, but me and the baby went for a walk. I had to do a Patreon episode, so I just put my headset on and just walked outdoors with the baby, and then he's just heckling in the background. You know, he's 8 months old and he's saying stuff like, you know, goo goo gaga, dada, and, you know, why do you not have a real job? And even though you're my dad and you're 32, why do you look like a 17-year-old female gymnast? And that hurts. If I'm honest, if you want to check out Patreon, our Patreon's patreon.com/teawithmepodcast. You get a full-length bonus episode on a Monday, which once we're upstairs, we will be doing the like proper, it'll be filmed properly, it'll be a video version, so you get an extra episode every week. And then on Friday, we do a live stream. And this Friday, we're going to do our first live stream from the studio. We're going to experiment about and see how it goes. And if you're watching the video version of this, I am looking outside a lot, but that's just because my window looks outside. And anytime someone goes past, I'm like a private detective. I need to know what they're doing and what they're up to. Like that guy there, definite Russian insider. Do you think there is, you know, the way there's like Russians who gather intelligence in London and some other places? Do you think there's just like one guy who does Northern Ireland? And every week he phones Putin and he's like, still not a lot. Putin's like, what are they getting up to over there? And he phones back and he goes, a lot of the people in Northern Ireland, they're queuing 1 hour for toasties. What? Everyone's doing that now. I love to see it. We're in Hollywood. That's where we have our new studio. There's a new place here called Melter, which I think is a place that does fancy toasties from like Michelin-starred chefs. I think I've got that right. It's like unbelievable quality food. And me and my mate went to go to it, but we were in a rush. Me and my mate Tony last week when we were working in the studio. And then they were like, listen, we've got a load of orders here and we weren't able to go, but someday we will go. And Hollywood's popping off at the minute. Everywhere's cute. I don't mean in a Newton Abbey way, but I mean like the only riots that are happening here are people just rioting for more coffee shops. You know, people in Hollywood are like, you know, sometimes I shouldn't have to walk more than 20 feet to a coffee house or a coffee house. I don't know if that's real. A coffee shop or a charity shop, because that's what Hollywood is. We like to give, we like to receive. I don't know what that means. My guest today is Aaron Butler, the man himself. Aaron Butler, big friend of the podcast. I think he's been on the most as a guest. I hope on Friday we'll actually ask him if he'll come down and be one of our first streamed guests. Maybe we'll get Aaron and Kieran down or something like that, and we'll do a pretty wild live stream. We'll see how that goes. I think we might stick to the same time of 9:30, but maybe we'll do it later in the afternoon. I don't know. But before we get into this episode, let me plug Manscaped.com, our sponsor. There's a guy with a really small head wearing a big hat. Would you like it if I just did podcast episodes and then we just commented on everybody who walked past? Hat's too big for his head. No, then nobody walked past. Okay, we'll not do that. We'll just do the normal podcast. Manscaped.com. Manscaped, if you don't know by now, is the leader in men's below the belt grooming. You know what I'm talking about, unless you're one of these guys who wears a belt around his neck as a fashion accessory. No. Remember that when there weren't belts, remember the things that were like zigzag? Like a zigzag necklace in the 90s that girls wore? And I remember a guy wore one in our class and he was called Jonathan in primary school. And then everyone was like, why are you wearing that? And this was before the times where you could just be yourself. Do you remember when we were younger, like anyone who's my age, like in their early 30s or younger or older? Like there seems to be this thing now, like I get that there's terrible people like out there and people who are like not tolerant. But nowadays it seems that you can sort of be like, listen, let me present to you me. You know, it seems like nowadays you go, listen, I would like to let you know a little bit about myself. Here's what I think. Here's who I am. And not everyone, of course, but like most people go, do whatever you want. That doesn't impact my life in any way. Good luck to you. And yeah, we should all just be who we want. Of course, there's people who are like, no. But when I went to school, you couldn't just say, like, you could barely change who your favorite band was, never mind, you know, gender or anything like that. Like, that would have, do you understand? Like, back in those days, nobody would have, it's not that you wouldn't have, like, you know, it's not that you wouldn't have, like, supported someone or been like, oh, good luck. You just wouldn't have been able to compute it. And I'm trying to remember what my point is. Oh, yeah, there was a guy who came into our class with one of those like black crisscross necklaces, just like one day because all the girls had been wearing them, and this was very much a time where it's like boys do this, girls do this. That's what you were told, and if you went outside of that, it was like no, that didn't. Unfortunately, that did not go down well. And I remember this guy Jonathan comes in with his necklace on like a Monday morning in the class and just sits down like he's not wearing a choke chain, and everybody in the class was like, hey, what do you do? I think even the teacher was like, hey, what is the meaning of this? And he goes, oh yeah, just everyone wears these now, these necklaces. And then he realized in that moment that he just realized that not everybody did. And then in his head, he was like, actually, I think I like the look of these, but I realized it's just the girls that wear them. And he then got a bit embarrassed about it, but then he just kept it on for the whole day and then he never wore it again. And I don't know what the moral of that story is. I don't know what it is. But I do remember that my P6 teacher, who was called Mrs. Easton, or Eason, don't know, maybe she owned the magazine shop, but that's shit banter. But listen to this. I was playing a class football match, not like a football match that was class, a football match for our class against some other class. They used to have in Strantown Primary School like tournaments where it's like, you know, this class plays, Mrs. Easton's class plays against Mrs. Ireland's class. I loved it, right? And it was taken like pretty seriously. You play at lunchtime and you got to wear your own kit, which was great. On this particular day, I'm wearing a full Italy football kit. And we were playing a good team. We were playing Mr. McDowell's team or something. I don't know. But I know this. On that day, I just decided I was just going to play up front as a poacher. You know, which people used to, oh, you're poaching. So I just decided I would stand. There's no offside. So I was like, I'm just going to stand beside the goalkeeper and I'm just going to get a few goals for us because we were losing. And there was loads of times in the game where I should have passed the ball, but I didn't. And this isn't like me. But I was just trying to score a goal. I mean, I don't know. I think maybe I was trying to press girls in my class. I don't know what was happening. But I was just trying to score goals. Anyway, I was being pretty ball greedy in the game. We lost a class football game. There was no trophy. There was no prize. We just lost the game. And I thought I actually played okay. I think I did score, but then I maybe had like 70 chances, so it wasn't a good conversion rate. And then a couple of guys in our class, a guy called Dean, a few other guys, like weren't happy at all after the game. They were like, "You should have passed the ball." But remember, this is P6, so we're like, I don't know, 9. And then when we got back to the classroom, I noticed like everyone who played in the game and some of the people in our class who were watching were just talking to Mrs. Easton. I'm going, okay, I just get on with my work. I don't know what they're talking to her about. Then Miss Easton in front of the class goes, some of you need to learn more about teamwork and helping others and working in a team, because that's what you'll need. There are skills you'll need for life. And I'm going, I don't know why she's telling us this. And then she goes, Shane Todd, I'm talking about you. She said, you were selfish in the game and you should have passed the ball to people more. And as a result, we lost the game or something like that. And I was like, this is an unfair roast. Like, it shouldn't be roasted by the teacher. Like, she wasn't even at the match, right? So I went, okay, that's weird, a bit sly, but I just moved on. Then every day she would like try and find, this turned into a therapy session. Every day she would find a way to bring the chat round to me not passing the ball. It's like months later, she'd be talking about, we'd be doing a thing about science, and she'd be talking about, needles, heroin, why you shouldn't do heroin. She'd be like, what you shouldn't do is share needles. I mean, Shane, that's not going to be a problem for you. You're unlikely to get hepatitis from a dirty needle because you don't pass. She didn't say that, but you know what I mean? There was always examples of how I should have passed the ball. And then in my report, like my final P6 report, this is written down. If we ever talk about this more, I will try and find this at some point. But in my final end of year P6 report, like, just say I'm a nice kid who's a bit like with a low IQ. No, she writes, Shane has a problem with team sports and working with others. And it was just because of this one game I was persecuted. Then, like the last week of term, this like independent governing body come into our school and go, we're picking 6 at random. They picked 6 of us random, and then they took us to the library in Strandtown Primary School and went, tell us about your teacher. Is she doing a good job? Are you happy? And then I was like, listen, the gloves are off, because everybody was going, yeah, she's dead on. And I said, well, listen, she has a problem with me and she's bullying me, she's victimizing me a bit. And I don't know if that ever got back to her, but I hope it did. And I also said she talks about her cat too much. I was matching being a bitch with being a bitch. You know what I mean? I was like, why do we always need to know about her cat? I'm trying to find out about algebra and spelling. And she's telling me that her cat's too fat. So shout out to Miss Easton. I think that was unfair. I think you're the reason why I struggled academically from there. I'm joking. I think it's just because I am like quite a thick guy in some ways, but yeah, I think that was pretty sly, Mrs. Easton. I don't know why you did that. And I still play football to this day, but I'm more of a team player. I'll pass the ball now. And Mrs. Easton, I'd like you to come on the podcast. I want to have the next episode of this podcast, I want to have a rabbi, a Muslim cleric, Mrs. Easton, and a private investigator. In fact, I might get a private investigator to find some ways in which Mrs. Easton has been selfish in her life. I'm not shared. My guest today is Aaron Butler. We're sponsored by Manscaped.com. Speaking of sharing, I'm going to share this with you. Manscaped, the #1 in below the belt men's grooming. You know by now, Manscaped have the Lawnmower 3.0. They've got a cologne. They've got all the products that a man who likes to take care of himself could need. They've got ball cleanser, ball deodorant, ball wipes. The list goes on. What do you need something for your balls? Manscaped.com. They've got a great travel case as well, or like a travel bag, which I use whenever I don't go anywhere. But when I did, I use this. Dan uses it, Mike uses it. In fact, when I'm hosting the podcast a lot of the time, I'll look over and they'll just be trimming their balls. And that's what we like to see. Great gift idea. This the Lawnmower 3.0 is like a wee electric razor. It's got a light on it, an LED light. It's a great time. Manscaped.com. Use the code teawithme for 20% off and free shipping. Let's get stuck into this episode today. My guest is the man prince himself, Mr. Aaron Butler. Here he is, Mr. Aaron Butler. I think this is maybe like the 6th time you've done the podcast.
Yeah, but always glad to be here. Always happy to be a guest. So thanks for having me.
No, listen, no problem at all. Look, I mean, there's a lot that I need to chat to you about, but there's nothing more pressing than this. Did I tell you about... So I spent the last few weeks on the podcast talking about my circumcision, mainly on Patreon, and which is a great incentive for people to sign up. But yeah, you guys knew that your boy was going to get, let's just say the bacon slicer was coming out, and I built it up. I said, like, last week, I was like, yeah, I'm going to get it done. I've had a few messages since from people going, mate, is everything okay? Do you know the story?
You've not got it done, have you?
Well, I genuinely haven't told you this, no?
No, so yeah, you don't have to tell me. I'll flip. Tell me everything.
I've got a picture to go with this, right?
Oh no.
Hang on. Oh no, it's
oh dear.
It didn't have enough power, bro, to cut the whole way through. Right. Here's what happened. I go to get it done, and I'm like relaxed for it. It was last Thursday, I think. So I'm feeling good. I'm ready to get it done. I get the COVID test the day before. I don't hear anything, so I mean that tells you that I got a negative test. Also, you know, I've been vaccinated, so I'm feeling good. Set aside time to go get it done. Now, the main thing I kept saying to people was, this is unreal because you can drive yourself home after it. I couldn't believe it. 20-minute procedure, drive yourself home. So I get to the fancy hospital, right? I get down there, and they go, a nurse meets me at reception and walks me up to a wee private room. So I'll show you the photo here of the room. It's really nice. Wee bit of art on the wall. You've got a bed, you've got a TV, big private bathroom. So I go, look, bit of comfort. This is great. She goes, I need you to fill out a question. Got a student with me. Is that okay? I said, yep, no problem. She goes, need you to fill out a questionnaire. So they go through a load of stuff, any allergies, yeah, all that sort of thing. A bit like when Kieran was on, they go, allergic to latex. I say, yeah, it brings me out in a boner. No one laughs. Then they come back in. They're like, so the doctor will be done with you shortly to talk you through everything. I'm like, yep. She goes, we'll bring you up to theatre. Happy days.
At this point, is your deck out, or?
It shouldn't have been, but it was. In fact, once I arrived in the car park, it was out. It was just out of the slit on the jeans.
Okay.
But in between the buttons, which is sly. But anyway, I go up, and she comes back in, the nurse, and goes, can I just double check, how many days have you been self-isolating for? And I thought they were just asking that out of curiosity. So I go, 2, because I've literally been working from home, and I haven't been out in public for probably 2 days. And she goes, right. And then she disappeared and came back, and she was like, you were supposed to self-isolate for a week before this procedure. And I said, no one told me that. I said, nobody told me that. I get out the email that I got with all the information. I went, look, no one told me that. She goes, I'm so sorry about this. Let me get the surgeon and we'll have a chat. As she leaves the room, I look, and in bold, it's like, yeah, you need to isolate for 7 days before this. Like, it's in its own red box on the phone.
Oh.
So he comes down, the surgeon, he's like, fuck, he goes, really sorry, but we're obviously going to have to reschedule. You can't get into theatre if you haven't self-isolated for a week. And I'm like, you know what, I was like, I thought no one had told me to do it. I said, it's my mistake. I apologize for like wasting everybody's time. It's my fault. And I feel shit. By the way, let me point out, in between these times, I'm now in the robe. So I'm sitting on the bed in a robe, right?
Legs up like in the little stocks.
Legs up, ready to be cut. And I'm sitting in the robe, and everyone's like, you dopey bastard. Like, you're supposed to isolate. Now, seconds before he came in, a lady came in to take my dinner order, and she goes, what about vegetable soup for a starter? And I said, listen, I have a few dairy allergies. I have a dairy
Oh
allergy
no.
and gluten. And she goes, I'll get you gluten-free bread from a different part of the hospital. I'm like, thanks so much. She goes to all this trouble, gets tea. Yeah, do you have almond milk? She goes, no, but I can get it from somewhere else. I'm like, listen, if it's not too much trouble. So when the doctor is walking out of the room and he's basically being like, you can stick your clothes on and like, you just have to go home. But he was so dead on about it. As he walks out, the wee woman walks in with my vegetable soup and my roll and my tea. So I just,
Did you,
like,
did you eat it?
man, look at that for a spread. Yeah, I just sat and like, here's the thing. I start like texting, like, obviously my wife. Oh, by the way, it turns out you're not allowed to drive yourself home. That's stipulated. That you're getting anesthetic in the lower half of your body, so your legs might not work. So don't drive yourself home.
Wow.
But I'm like phoning my wife. I'm phoning like Dave and someone else to be like, listen, you're not going to believe this. I realize I've been there for 45 minutes. They need the room because somebody else is coming in. I'm sitting in my robe. A different nurse goes, have you had your surgery and all? And I'm sitting there in a full robe eating my vegetable soup. And I said, I'm not even getting anything done. she goes, have you got your surgery? And I went, nah, I'm not getting surgery today. And I'm just sitting there in a full robe working away at this vegetable soup. So
Yeah, I mean, and here's for people that know you, none of that story surprises me
no,
in the slightest. The email doesn't surprise me. The whole anesthetic thing doesn't surprise me. You sitting and continuing to eat the soup doesn't surprise me. And here's what has went through your head. You went, oh, I haven't been able to eat somewhere in ages. I'll
yep.
just sit in and eat this soup and have a nice time. Like, and I can just see the cogs in your head turning, but enjoyable nonetheless. So it's rescheduled, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I haven't got a new date, but what do you think I did
Oh,
whenever I left? Because I basically said to myself, you've been through a wee ordeal there. What do you think I did when I left? Bear in mind that the hospital is on the Lisburn Road. I just got Nando's on the way home, mate. Just got a click and collect Nando's.
I was going to say you probably took yourself to Nando's, so you had soup and Nando's. It was the stress of everything. You just, yeah, the whole situation that you created yourself, the just led to that. Well, look, I'm sorry to hear that it didn't work out, but
Yeah,
I hope Nick, you've learned, you've did a dummy run. You know what I mean? You
exactly.
know,
Exactly.
you've mentally prepared yourself on what to expect from now. Also, if I was you, I would have just lied and say, yeah, I've been isolating for 7 days. Get the cutting.
I can't do that. I can't do
I
that
know, I know
because
you
I'm a
can't,
man
but
about
I would
town.
have.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
know you
you
can,
are.
but I would have. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I've been isolating for 6 years, ready to get this done. I would have been my thing. I would have went above the lie.
yeah. So basically, I'm just enjoying the second chance with my foreskin, and
Wow.
yeah, it's annoying though because I was psyching myself up for it, and now I'm looking at my foreskin like, like there he is, still here. So it will happen again, and we will live stream it for Patreon.
Ab- Absolutely. I'll get like a 4 camera setup going, every angle.
I genuinely was going to ask them, right? Could I put a GoPro on myself because you're awake for it? And like
Yeah.
genuinely, like not live stream, but make a video and then put it out for Patreon or something. And then I thought the hospital probably wouldn't be keen on that.
Well, here was my thinking behind that even because when I was getting my vasectomy, I was like, oh, like I could easily like do something like you were saying there, like do like a video of me just reacting. But then I thought to myself, no, because I don't want to do anything that is out of the normal for the doctor in case it distracts the doctor and he's
Yes.
cutting around your dick at the time and then a wee slip happens. So I was like, no, best just to let him do it the way he's always did it and let's
Yep.
just make it fine. So yeah, that was
Or what if he tries to do fancy stuff? You know what I mean? During a circumcision,
show
what if
off.
he
Yeah,
like, like the way people cut paper and then you open it up and it's like wee
or
shapes? That was my number one concern, that he put like he'd make some wee diamonds in it and stuff, and
I
when
don't,
it
I do.
opened, Yeah.
It's just the dates to your shows.
Although, yeah,
It's
SSE
the
Arenas,
SSE.
13th November. Although, do you know what? That would be great advertising, wouldn't it? Because I'm just thinking, he can do whatever he wants. He can cut whatever he wants into the foreskin. It's getting cut off. So
So you
maybe
could
what I
sell
do
it.
is, once it's cut off, I go, listen, bro, get that scalpel back out there. And then he puts in SSE Arena. And then I just take a photo of that. And then it goes up.
Or we just Photoshop it. Like, let's make life easy. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah, yeah.
Let's not have to cut up a shriveled, decrepit little foreskin.
What do you mean? It's not little, but did
Hey,
Dave?
hey, you're not getting rid of it because it's healthy, man.
Yeah, it's true. Did Dave? Did Dave get you to do a bit of Photoshop around this for me? No, or did he do it
Oh, oh
himself?
yes. Oh, well, clearly.
We can't
Anything you
show it.
see
We
from
can't
Dave,
show it, but
no, no, but very funny. The yeah. Anytime you see a Photoshop from Dave, it's came from me.
yeah, yeah, yeah. He was
The
like, the day I was getting it done, he goes, "Man, I have something to show you for your procedure." And I thought it was going to be like a life quote, the night is darkest just before the dawn. Oh no, just a very disrespectful photoshopped image he made. And if Dave ever betrays me, I'll leak that. I'll release it. Uh,
yeah.
can I tell you something? See, in the introduction to this episode, I was
Hmm.
talking about private investigators for some reason, and I was like,
Sure.
let me Google it and see if there's any private investigators locally. There legitimately is. Isn't that
That's
class?
interesting. Yeah, because I never sort of thought of that myself. You imagine like it's just an American thing. What could we get them to private investigate?
Well, I was saying we could get like Dave, for example. You know,
Yeah.
could we like find out stuff on Dave and then slip it into conversation? Oh, where were you last Sunday? At 8 o'clock, because like just there, like he was in Newton Abbey all weekend. There just passed, so you could drop that in, and I don't know. I would love to have a private investigator on the pod. I want to have people on, as well as comedians, obviously, and mates. I want to have people on the podcast that have like mad jobs and be like, what all have you seen and all,
Yeah,
you
what
know?
sort of crimes? Yeah.
But would you have to like silhouette them and change their voice? Or do you think, say private investigator, do you think it's just like one of your dad's mates who's like, oh, I'll find out. And he just really badly tails them. It
He just
says
goes on
private
to yeah.
investigator on the side of his van.
Yeah, or he's just downloading Facebook pages and sending you the email being like, "Are you yours? Everything you need to know."
Yeah, yeah.
And you're
Private
like, "I could,
investigator.
yeah."
Do you think you'd be a good private investigator?
Would I be a good private investigator?
Yeah. What do you think?
I mean, with appropriate training, yeah. I don't think I could just willy-nilly start doing it. There's bound to be like some sort of tricks and secrets that they have that you like. And how, do you know, it'd be cool like the special gadgets they use. Like, do they use like a wee camera and stuff that like sees through people's houses and all?
Probably. And
You know?
then one of the things on the website there said we can check if you're being bugged. And part of me was thinking, who in Northern Ireland is being bugged?
Yeah, like what? Why? Well,
But what if we just did it for the crack for the podcast with a private investigator, and then we said, what about being bugged and all? And he like did some check in your car just to prove how it works, and you were being bugged.
sure, we're all being bugged if you have a phone.
Oh no, Connor Keys on the podcast. Um, I mean, do you know what? That's one of those things that's like, we all laugh at, and like, but we are.
Oh yeah, I'm not a conspiracy nut, but I do believe like if you have a phone, there's a lot of things probably tracking you. But who gives a fuck? Like, are you
Oh
not gonna
yeah,
have a phone?
yeah. It's one of those things where like people go, they're listening to your phone calls and your messages, and like they're not. See you that's saying that they're not some guy like I'm trying to arrange five aside here, and they're listening to all my
Mm.
messages. It's like, are they? Are they like, fucking Decky? Can you get your cousin to play? Or is he in McGoldrick? Is he, bro? Right, fuck's sake, and all. I'll have to. I'll just drive around the town. I'll get someone. Do you think Buck Alec would play? No one's listening to those conversations.
Yeah, no one's reading your dad's WhatsApp memes that he's sending to the family group like a fucking shit,
No,
you
people
know.
should be, but they're not.
Yeah, if they did, he definitely would be in jail, but they're not.
Can we talk about you being on the property ladder, or do you not really want to talk about that?
No, absolutely. Let's chat about it. So yeah, I bought my first house for at the tender age of 32 in 10 days. And it was the most frightening thing I've ever done.
Well, first of all, I didn't know it was your birthday in 10 days. Do you want to do
Sure.
some sort of birthday special podcast? Do you want to?
Yes.
And I'll do some
Let's
surprises for you.
sure. We'll do that. We'll figure it out. But yes.
Okay. All right. So you bought your first house.
Yeah.
What does the Buttman look for in a house? Because I don't think it's conventional. Like most people will be like, good access to it,
Mm,
parking, don't want it too loud beside a main road. But
mm.
I could see you buying a house based on its proximity to a milkshake parlor.
There's that. There's also, what are like, is there room to put slides in and out and around the house? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Slides from the room to the living room, from the back garden to the front, like things like that. We need to, adaptability, like a bit that sort of thing is good. I actually, you'll get a kick out of this because I'm a house guy now. I'm trying to buy sort of stuff that house people would buy, and I've discovered a website that sells
I get.
scent. Yeah, furniture. I discovered a furniture website from Sweden.
Do you know
The
there's these Scandinavian guys, and if you give them £4, they will make you 7 cabinets. Or they won't make it, you'll make it. But yeah, I love the idea that you genuinely are finding this stuff out.
Yeah, I'm a house guy now, and what I found, and this will be the most me thing you'll hear at this point, is a website that specializes in scented candles that scent your house to the scents of Disney World. So I have went online today and purchased many pounds worth of scented candles.
But the scent of Disney World is like,
Sure,
vom-
popcorn,
vomit,
hate, sad.
vomit, popcorn, and trying to make your kids love you. Like that's the
Yeah,
scent.
and that's my house. That's exactly how I want to be.
Do you know what? Do you know what I can guarantee you? You're the first person that's bought that product, and they were so close
Oh.
to shutting that website down, and then they went, "Hang on, order from West Belfast here." This is the same guy that bought Magic Beans off us 2 weeks ago.
Hey, they're gonna come through. Okay, that's the new Bitcoin.
I can't wait. I
Yeah.
can't wait till I have a look at your house, and you're like, "Yeah, I'm a house guy," and I go, "Aaron, there's no roof on this," and you're like, "Oh, is that why I was cold?" I thought the guy told me that was a water feature. And
Yeah.
there's a cellar here. There's a chill cellar down below the floor, and there's 6 bodies in it. Oh, I thought that was Terry Bradley art. What?
Is that not Madame Tussauds in Northern Ireland? I thought I had. Ah.
There's a guy doing heroin in your utility room. Oh, I thought he was an athlete. I thought that was a vitamin drip.
Is
No,
that not the
man.
estate agent? But yeah, I bought it off him. Yeah, but so yeah, I'm excited, nervous, scared, all that stuff, and yeah, very happy that I'm gonna be moving out of my parents' house finally.
Like you're not going to be able to do a conventional housewarming, but are you going to be
No.
somebody that do you not want to do it? Are you someone who like you don't want to have people around for like a bit of a party, a bit of a do? Because I'm like that. Like I don't like people. I like having friends around, of course, but I don't like the
Yes.
idea of like imagine someone being like, "Mate, someone spilled something in there."
Oh, nope. We're exactly the same on this. I'm not looking for a house party. I'm looking like, look, two, three people max that I like. People, you know what I mean, that'll come around, you know what I mean? Watch WrestleMania together, get a pizza, that sort of thing. I'm
Every
not
night watch
into
WrestleMania.
same one. Yeah. Number 17, it was the best. Do that, and then I'm not looking to like have cocktails or like put on little bits of food. Like it's not that sort of house. It's my house. Here's how much it is my house. There's 3 bedrooms in it, and only one of them has an actual bed in it. The other two are for me.
Now you're gonna have to follow that up and tell me what they're for you for.
One has a swing and a pole in
I swear to God, I was about to say one has to swing.
but it's a Kinder Fisher one from the kids have. It's one for the back garden, but I just can happen to fit it in the house. So I'd rather it's a valuable item. I'd rather keep it, but no, it's
Is there
so
more
what?
of a tragic image than just a 32-year-old guy in his own house with no one to push him on a swing? You're telling people like, I've got a swing upstairs. They're like, oh, wow, you kinky bastard. You get up there and you're like, will you push me?
Yeah, because it's not even outside. There's no wind. It's just so fucking still. It's basically a chair. But yeah, so I'm making those two rooms. One room's going to be an office, clearly, because I work from home a lot. And then the second room, you'll like this, is going to be a bit of a gym room. So there's going to be like
Excellent.
squat rack in there. There's going to be probably a rowing machine, sit up bench and all that sort of good fun stuff. So and that's again not catering to any guests. If anyone's like, "Oh, can we come over and stay?" Well, nah, you're all
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
You
I
know.
could definitely see you renting part of the house out for
Oh,
Airbnb to
oh
weird
no.
European people. Wouldn't that be the, wouldn't that be the, see people that do that? I fucking understand people who are like, I need to make a few quid. I've got too
Mm,
much space in my house, 100%. I could not have anybody in my house at one time when I'm sleeping that I
yep.
don't know extremely well.
Yeah, and even when you do know them extremely well, we still wouldn't settle. We'd be just sort of sleeping a wee bit
No.
on edge at night anyway. But yeah, I could. Even the thought of that makes me squirm a little bit in my skin. I mean, fair play to people that can do it and are like, I don't understand how people can just be so carefree about that sort of stuff. Just be like, yeah, we have people just stay around. And
Stay, just stay.
it's all good. We like just catering for people and stuff. It's just nice. But like that's how like a Netflix murder documentary happens. Some unknown guy from fucking Czechoslovakia comes over and fucking it's a country. It's look it up. But yeah, so no, I'll not be doing that. It'll be just an. Do you know what it'll be a nice home. It'll be a nice home.
Okay.
And it has a lovely back garden that a lot of neighbors will hate having to watch me shoot videos outside it, and that's okay.
Listen, like you're a guy who will be sunbathing in there, well,
Oh,
like when the weather's good, right? Wearing like very little.
when
My
the
dad,
weather's bad,
yeah.
I'll be out in nothing.
I said to my dad yesterday, "What about that fella lives in the street?" I said, "You ever see him? Like, I haven't heard much of him." My dad goes, as if this is nothing. My dad goes, last time I saw him, he was sunbathing at the back door, like completely bollock naked. And I said, huh? My dad goes, he was sitting at his back door. He says he probably didn't know anyone could see him, but my dad goes, he was just sitting bollock naked. And I said, like dick out. And he goes, yeah. My dad goes, about 6:30 in the morning. Why did any of that why would any of that sound normal?
Yeah, why is your dad not like made a bigger deal of it? Why is he not reported it? Your dad is almost an enabler to that guy getting his dick out. So what's happened is that guy has like has accidentally like a ball like fell out of his boxers and he went fuck, and your dad was about and your dad didn't say anything and he went well,
Well,
if he's not,
I think my dad couldn't report him because then the guy would
your
be
dad
like,
was also doing it.
the guy would be like, I started doing it because I saw this fella do. This fella's been doing it since 1987 in his garden.
Yeah, yeah. This guy literally spreads his cheeks to get the little crack in his butthole completely tanned, and so yeah, you couldn't do that. But here's the thing: why would you get your dick tan? Surely your dick would burn.
I think it would burn pretty easily because like that skin doesn't see daylight a lot. It shouldn't see daylight a lot. You know what I mean? So I'm not. Do you know what? Here's the thing though. I sort of grew up thinking nudist beaches were like really weird and disturbing. And now I think about it, I'm like,
Mm.
I get it because it's like everyone knows why they're going. Everyone there is like, I'm comfortable being naked and I'm comfortable with seeing other people naked. And I don't think many people who go, you're going to get probably 1 in 10 perverts, but everyone's probably like, nah, I feel like there's something about that to me that feels quite natural where you're like, just balls and dick out, going for a swim on the beach. Like that's the way you kind of should be. But then another part of me is like, no, but then what if people are looking at your willy and all? You know what's weird?
Yeah.
It's weird when it's like it's a nudist beach, but it's part of a normal beach, and you don't
Oh,
know that until you
separation.
walk through it.
Yeah.
I've seen that before.
whenever travel opens again, do we just book a flight to some unknown country that no one knows us and just go try out a nudist beach and see what we think?
Do you know what we have to do? Do you remember there was a guy who got in touch with me? I told you about it. It was literally just before lockdown, so I couldn't do it. But I must get in touch with them. Do you remember there was a guy who was like, "Will you do a video for my business?" And I told you about it, and
Vaguely.
it was a car wash near you.
Oh yeah.
And I said, like, what's your budget? He told me, and I was going, I don't know. Do you remember what we were going to do?
We were gonna just travel to
We were going to
somewhere, yeah.
book like a really cheap
The cheapest,
day
yeah.
flight to like Poland, and then just go there and spread the word about this like car wash in Belfast. I was
Just
thinking
hand
about
out
that the other
flyers.
day. We have to do that. Also, now that there's so many, like, and this is probably one of the, I haven't even checked our questions here. We'll get onto them in a sec. But now that there's so much like Line of Duty, Bloodlands, all that kind of thing, let me just tell you, the appetite for the return of Belfast Blues
It's
is
high.
at fever pitch.
It really is. We need to just write the second season now, don't we?
Yep. Look, we've got the space for it. You come down here and we can do it, and we can just get a shot because this can double as like a off.
Yeah.
We could use this as a location as well as
The
like
new
right here
headquarters.
and
Yeah,
end
yeah,
over
yeah,
here.
yeah. The oh, I've had some ideas and stuff. Like when we were writing that, it was probably some of the funniest just times, like just coming up with all the jokes and the stuff.
Yeah,
It
but
was
it
just
be
ridiculous.
yeah. We should definitely do like 3 episodes and do them on a like a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday or something.
Absolutely, yeah, yeah, for sure. I agree.
And call it something instead of Belfast Blues 2. It's like Belfast Blues
yeah, there's some sort of
the
saga
Wild
or
Goose
something.
Chase or so. You know what I mean? Like something.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, we'll come up with some sort of tagline for it. Here, before you get into questions, have you did a shout out for Card Frampton yet to talk about his fight?
What do you mean shout out for him?
Just to pay respect to the retired career of Card Frampton.
I haven't paid respect on the podcast, but
You
I
should.
I have paid my respects on kind of on social media because I put up the I did a McGoldrick video with him like years ago, and I put up a really good clip from it, and I was like, yeah, I hope he does the business. Do you know what the worst thing is? Well, no, it's not a negative because he's retiring after an amazing career, but not like see going to his fights.
Hmm.
It like I didn't enjoy the Manchester trip for the Warrington fight because it was our fault. We ended up staying in a shit hotel that I thought was an unreal hotel, um,
Yep.
and it was just like some guy threatened to beat me up when we were arriving. When I tell you about this, we got into a lift. We were there. By the way, I went to see Frampton as part of my honeymoon uh, because we went over to see a Frampton fight, and then from there flew on to America, and like we just got married. Like really looking forward to the fight because he was like, yeah, with Warrington it was going to be a big fight. Got into the lift, two like big drunk English fellas in the lift. Um, and I said, like, how's it going, mate, or whatever, or said the floor where we're going to, and they were blitzed. And the guy goes, like, where are you from? And I said, oh, Northern Ireland. And he goes, oh yeah. He said, I think he either said it was one or the other. He was either like, oh, you're a Fenian then, or you're a Hun, whatever it was. And I said, I thought he was just having like stone faced banter. So I was like, oh no, I went we would have both or something. I just like totally deflected and was like, fuck, we have to go up 24 stories here. And then the guy was just like four of us in the lift, and the guy's just staring at me like no facial expression, just staring at me, and I was like, he's gonna fucking kill me. And then we got off the lift and we're walking to the room, and he said something like, hopefully I run into you later. And I like don't look back, I don't say anything. We get into our room. Then we hear two guys going, oh, I think we're on the wrong, fuck's sake, got off the wrong floor. They were then in the room beside us. The walls were really thin, and I heard them planning to attack me later in the night. They're like, we'll find that fella, kick his head in or whatever it was. So I didn't have a good trip, but let me just say the Vegas trip where I went to see Frampton and Santa Cruz for their second fight was absolutely brilliant. It was magic. So the amount of like great nights that he's given is is unreal. I try and get him on the podcast. I think the last time I asked him, he just started his own for Joe.ie or Joe.co.uk. So yeah, I'll try and get him on. Do you watch Fight?
I did, and it was sad to see, but also you have to just admire that he did have like probably one of the best Northern Irish sort of boxing careers, and like he went out still fighting. Like he was fucking. They were in the top four, and that shot he took that put him down. That fucking, I think it was an uppercut. No one gets up from that. If anyone else gets up, no. But he fucking just shows you like the sort of heart that he had as a fighter, just to be like, nope, keep going, keep going. So yeah, good for him.
It's also very impressive that he is retiring now, because he definitely could have had another Windsor fight or gone out, final fight.
Yeah.
He could have done a Windsor, but didn't want to do that to the fans, just in case he couldn't perform probably at the level he wanted or whatever, or couldn't get the
Yes.
opponent he wanted. So I think that's very admirable as well, because a lot of people would just go for the payday.
Yeah, true. I was going to say it is sad that we'll never get like a big final hurrah stadium fight from him, but at the same time, like he doesn't know anybody, anything, and fucking do whatever he wants to do and whatever. But yeah,
Maybe you look with Paddy Barnes in Belfast Blues. Maybe Frampton's in the new
oh,
series. That'd be class.
yeah, playing the bad guy.
Yeah, yeah, no, yeah, unbelievable career, like so good.
Absolutely.
Watching the highlights thing before that fight, they were showing like a montage of his title wins and stuff. Yeah, class. Right, we'll get stuck into some questions.
Sure.
We have had a really good response. So let me get wired in. Also, a lot of people think that the picture I put up of you is today. It's not. That was a pre-lockdown outfit that you were wearing. Remember you came down to Hollywood wearing the leopard print suit?
Sure do. I remember walking the high street of it, and surprisingly, no one really cared.
It's Hollywood, mate. You know what I mean?
It's
People are
Hollywood.
like, "Oh, you dressed down day,"
Yep.
wearing a full leopard print suit. So,
Yeah, still have it.
all right, let's see what we've got here. Mark Cunningham says, "Oh, this isn't a podcast question." All good. Patrick Quinn. Would you ever consider a recorded road trip with each other, me and you, plus the likes of Dave, like Carl Pilkington, Clive Warren? If so, where would you love to see in the world? Sorry, Warwick Davis, no idea where Clive Warren came from. Yeah, so would we do like and shout out to Patrick Quinn, aka Belfast guy in China. Hope all is well. Yeah, I mean, we definitely would, wouldn't we? I mean, that is one of the videos that we, or like a series of videos that just for lockdown we talked about doing, of like booking the cheapest flight abroad that we could fly back same night and just go and like mess about for a day and shoot it.
There was that. I love that idea. I also love the idea of just keeping it in like the island of Ireland, where like I seen people do this on YouTube video before, so it's kind of stealing the idea. But I just thought it was genius, where you just put up a map of Ireland and then you throw a dart blindly, and wherever it hits, you just have to travel to it and document the whole thing. Like you don't like plan where you're staying. You just get down there, find somewhere to stay, like find the activities, blah blah blah. I think that would be a great idea for if we ever did something like that. I'd love to do it. Like
I said to, oh for sure, I said to Dave once, he was talking about like an Ireland travel series idea, and I said we could just travel the entire way around the coast of Ireland. I said, take a weekend and travel around the entire coast of Ireland. And Dave went,
I mean, yeah. So
how long
yeah.
do you think that would take? I was like, I don't know, 3 days. He's like, not if you travel around the entire coast, you fucking moron. I think we could do
Yeah, it 2 3 days. I mean, set up the challenge. Yeah, I'll sponsor you.
2 3 days. Do like a gumball rally type thing.
Oh, could you imagine? Jesus. You know, the biggest logistical issue with that is just getting like camera people, obviously, because like you don't want to be taking someone away. Like say we took Michael Foster, like we'd have to take him away for 2 3 days from his normal work. So then we'll have to flip and fund that and stuff too. So it's one of those logistical things. But obviously, me, you, and Dave would just
I
fucking
think
bounce at it. Like,
GoPros could be a good way to go.
yeah, that's also a good alternative.
Right, a little more questions here, but yeah, we definitely would do that. Elaine Kelly says, have you seen that people can review supermarket items on the Asda app? maybe could be an alternative to the TripAdvisor segment. Also, who are your fashion icons? To take the first, yeah, I love this, Elaine, because someone's just left a review for like cream and Asda, like straight up just cream, whipped cream. The person's called Bexley.
That was
Oh,
me.
sorry, it's double cream. It's for your swing
Go
room.
ahead. Yeah.
They've left a 5-star review for the double cream and Asda and just written, bought to make cheesecake.
And that's it.
That's it. What more do you want? You bought it to make cheesecake. Elaine, yes, I think we could definitely explore this as a future segment. Aaron, who are your fashion icons?
Do you ever see the kid on the choker box?
Yeah, that's what you're going for.
No, I'm only joking. It's the kid on the concern box.
Yeah, you just going with the sort of like earthly tones for clothes and
Earthly tones, nice patterns, that sort of thing. I don't know if I have. I tell you who I like that I don't know his name, so pardon me. But the guy from Queer Eye for the Straight Guy, not Tan France, but the guy that wears the bomber jackets. I think he's the black guy.
yeah.
That
What do you
I
mean
like.
you think he's the black guy? Hey man, he is. Yes, he is. He's fucking like legitimately very sexy. Like not
Yeah.
even like in a mess but way. He's a very sexy guy. Like he would make you feel at ease very quickly. Like say you're like, oh my asthma's flaring up and all. He would
I'm glad you
definitely
said
like.
asthma. I thought you were going to say something else. Here, my yeah, yeah, sure.
He, he's
Pseudo
he's
cream.
he's the guy I'd want to calm me down. So yeah, he has very good style.
Yeah, I
Um,
like him. What about you?
who are my style icons?
Do you have any?
I think
Yeah,
fashion, I think, is a projection of self.
absolutely.
So I don't think you should have style icons. Um,
Cool.
but apart from that, just Mickey Bartlett.
Yeah, I mean, Mickey Bartlett knows the latest trends, doesn't he?
William Palmer says, "Hey, bro, guy dudes, are you guys considering any more procedures on your Williards?" Yeah, I mean, very valid question to ask us. You've had the vasectomy. I
Hmm.
will have the circumcision soon. So, is there anywhere you've talked about screw talks on the podcast before?
Yeah.
But is there any other procedures you would consider down there?
Just the screw talks. I don't think I, unless they can add like another one. Like, what's the point?
Would you go 2 day? Would you have 2 dicks for like a trial for a day to see how it goes?
Yeah, but it's not like two dicks side by side. It's like one dick comes out of the other dick, like a wee alien head, and it's like, you know what I mean. So it's like, just I don't know. I'm look,
And
if there's
is
go
one for
ahead.
business, one for pleasure?
Yeah, just look, if there's any surgeons out there, any specialists that are trying some innovative new way of techniques, hit me up and just let me know. Show me a price list, show me a menu, and I'll I'll see what we can do. What about you? Any sort of other procedures you've considered it?
I would consider like a Ziploc on the ball bag,
Ah,
just in
yes,
case you're out running. Or what am I going to do with my
storage.
keys? What am I going to do with my keys? Fire them in a
Mm.
waterproof bag. Tie them in a wee waterproof bag and put them in something like that. Although, would it be like what's in it? Say you,
I mean, me nothing.
yeah, you
I,
fresh air.
I could, yeah, yeah.
The only thing in your ball bag is ideas. uh, yeah, so I think we'd be open to new procedures. Oren O'Kane
Yeah, hit
says,
us up.
"What's the Buttman stance on full body feature length cheetah tracksuits?" Oh wait,
Oh.
so I think he knows what your attitude is. Have you ever looked at anything online clothes wise and thought, no, I couldn't?
Nah, not at all. Everything I see potential in, and that's a metaphor for life. Okay, for people, everyone has a bit of potential, and that goes for clothing too.
Let me ask you this: would you say I bought you it right? Would you wear a PVC blazer and trousers? So like So you wear a t-shirt, a short sleeve t-shirt, right? Normal t-shirt. You have
Hmm.
a blazer for over the top of it, but it's see-through PVC. And then you just wear boxers, but then you put the see-through PVC trousers over the top, and then you just wear trainers.
Oh, so it's see-through?
Yeah.
Hmm. I mean, yeah, I would, as long as it was like, as long as I'm not going to get in trouble by the police. They're not going to see me walking down the street and go, here, you can't be wearing see-through pants, dude.
No, you're not wearing see-through pants. You're wearing see-through trousers, but you're wearing normal pants.
I'm wearing boxers, yeah.
Yeah. So you can't get in trouble.
If I can't get in trouble, then sure, I'll wear it at a gig sometime. Like we had this thing where we were going to buy each other outfits for Pug Uglies one night, and I would still like to do that as well. There's also a great idea that if you go on the TK Maxx's website and just go for the cheapest item of everything, and then put
Brilliant.
it together in one outfit, and just see what you get. I might do that myself. Just see what outfit I get.
Pierce Doherty says, "What the fuck is he wearing?" Is a real question. So, could you describe your leopard print suit in like a bit more detail, or if people don't,
So.
if I'm not
mm.
explaining it to people, could you?
So I'm in Disney World, of course, where I usually am, and I'm in Walmart, just shopping about. And in the women's clothes section, there is a full leopard print suit for $30. And I was like, here, I'll try this on as a laugh. And sure, we'll get a photo with it, and then I'll send my man on, be good crack. And then I tried it on and had a moment where I went, oh, this is coming home.
Yeah.
Okay, get your green card because you're coming over to Ireland. And so I just bought it straight up because I was like $30. Sure, that's a bargain. And so yeah, it comes in handy, and I'll use it for something.
Okay, the less said, the better. Luke O'Neill says, "Would Aaron Butler be Joe Exotic's understudy? Do you think you would do a good job playing Joe Exotic in an amateur dramatic play held in the Welcome Centre in West Belfast?"
Yes. Does that answer it? You're like, I've been working on it. Yeah. I'm writing a screenplay at the minute about it. But
You play Joe Exotic. I play the Dave plays. I play. You know the guy that shot himself. I play him, and Dave plays the guy
oh
with the
no,
teeth
oh no. Why is Dave playing the guy with the teeth?
because the guy has like big gaps where his teeth should be. So it sort of writes itself, you know.
Did you? I actually watched the Louis Theroux Joe Exotic follow-up documentary. You
No,
probably haven't seen it yet. No.
good.
I mean, uh, it's all right. I mean, you don't learn too much apart from he's still mental and he's still the best. Here's the best part about it. Whenever Trump was obviously getting moved out of the White House, like for Joe Biden or whatever, like all the Joe Exotic people had like sworn that Trump was going to give Joe Exotic a
That's right.
pardon. And they had a stretch Hummer limousine waiting outside the prison to pick Joe up. That's how I just love that he never got to get in it.
Imagine like that's the lasting legacy from Trump's presidency.
Imagine
The
he
most
pardoned Joe
iconic thing he
Exotic.
did was pardon Joe Exotic. Marty Cox says, "Where's the bomb, like guy?"
That's another sketch we need to make again. We need to do a follow up to that for sure.
I think what we need to do is, and it's probably like a writing thing for me, but distinguishing those a bit more. You know what I mean? Those two things, because the
Yeah,
Belfast Blues thing became like a version of that thing with the bad accent. So I think Belfast Blues, we just do our own accents, and
yeah.
then but like badly acted. Which hey, let's face it, we can do
Oh,
that.
yeah.
And then we make Belfast film, but with the like American Belfast accents.
Yeah, it just needs to have like some sort of different characters or story to it that'll drive it. I mean, it's more of a trailer and stuff anyway we do for that one, but yeah, I think people would love to see a follow up of that. So yeah.
I've got an idea. We'll talk. I've got an idea.
Okay, Scooter.
Uh, Jamie Harrison says, "Can you do some impressions of your favorite prank callers from the Boytown podcast?" Did you ever have to do a prank call on Boytown when you jumped in episodes?
I did, but Dave just made me do it as Liberace, which we all know is pretty easy for me.
Mark begs, not a question, just a request. I'd like to hear the Buttlord's outstanding impression of our Lord and personal Savior, Liberace. Hashtag good morning, hashtag very sexy. So for anyone who doesn't know, Dave and I started doing a podcast together because we agreed to start doing a podcast about 5 years ago. And then as we were recording, Dave put on the film Behind the Candelabra with Michael Douglas and Matt Damon about the flamboyant piano player Liberace. And in it, there's a scene where Liberace wakes up Matt Damon by sucking his cock, and from under the covers, he says, "Good morning." And that became the podcast for so long. Like, that's all we talked about. And Dave and I can do passable impressions of it, but do you want to give people, and it's the wee noise he makes at the start, do you want to give people, including Mark Beggs, a good morning?
Mark, here you go. Get ready. Save this for your voicemail. Good morning.
Could you do me a favor and just add Mark onto the end of that just to give him something top tier?
Good morning, Mark, my Adonis. Enjoy, Mark.
Jamie Gordon says, name me some things you and Aaron would be willing to do to get your foot into the doors of a paramilitary organization. We're talking bottom barrel jobs. So, yeah, say there was like some sort of like, say there was a war between aliens and the paramilitaries, which, by the way, this should be what the Belfast film is. All the paramilitaries have to join together to fight we green aliens.
And I go, the aliens are taking over. And you're, what? The aliens are taking over. The aliens are taking over, Decky said.
What is it that you want? Take us to your leader.
The aliens have bad connections. We put you in a green onesie suit.
We have come here to show you the error of your ways. Right, we can also kill two birds with one stone because we're going to put a love scene in between the head guy from the Protestants and the head guy from the Catholics. I've talked about this scene for a long time. Hashtag glory hole in the peace walls. So yes. This is the idea. That's the idea. Paramilitaries versus aliens. I've said too much. Paramilitaries versus aliens.
I'm so excited.
Do you need to hear any more, or do we just start shooting?
I'll be around in 2 minutes. Just grab a battery.
But me and you also play the aliens.
Yeah. We just buy green one suits and then paint our faces green.
Okay, well, there you go. That's an exclusive. That's going to be on the way.
Good.
Oh, look, I don't even know what. Oh yeah, basically to answer that question, imagine aliens had come down, paramilitaries fighting aliens, but you were going to die unless you really join a paramilitary. So, what bottom level jobs would you like? Would you be prepared to just work in like the tuck shop, for example?
Yeah, do the tuck shop. I'd get the boys. I'd do fag runs. You know what I mean, just so they could get wee smokes and stuff. I'd do bets for them. You know, go down to the
placing a bet is such a that's such a thing. A guy just joining a paramilitary would get sent to do, placing a football bet.
Yeah, or a horse that no one. I mean, it's a horse that they've already shot in the leg. And they know, you know what I mean? But yeah, I think the question should be, what would we do to get out of the paramilitary? I don't think we want in it. You know what I mean?
Can I just say, I came up with this observation earlier, and I think I've never been more accurate in anything I've said. See people that call people fucking tramps. They themselves are what they're describing. Or what they're describing. The sort of person they're describing. Oh my God, look at that fucking tramp. The person who says that is scummier than the person they're talking about.
Yeah, they're projecting their own insecurity onto the person.
Fucking tramp. We're calling this episode Aliens versus Paramilitaries, and then we're writing that. I'm seeing some big cameos in this as well, by the way.
Yeah, I could see a retired weatherman making a
The only person
Yeah.
that can save us is Frank. And then Frank shows up. Take care, be good, bye bye.
Oh shit. Yeah, whenever this finishes, we need to get straight onto Google Docs and just start going back and forth and writing this.
Yeah, okay, all right, I'm good with that.
Oh,
All right, well, look, I gotta go. I literally gotta go and get home and start writing that. But
cool.
you can't make the breakfast brew this Friday, but you're gonna do next Friday.
I'm going to do next Friday. I'm working this Friday, but I will see everyone next Friday. Very excited.
All right. Cheers for coming on, ladies and gentlemen. Mr. Aaron Butler. Find them on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Aaron's
Love it.
videos. Aaron's
Love it.
videos.
Arm Butler online. Arm Butler online. But
Okay,
yep,
not what I said. Paramilitary v aliens. Love it.
coming soon.